Hi guys, this is Scribbly again with another stationery video, and this video right here is another installment of what I call the bullet journal workshop, which is like a video series that by and large of course has to do with bullet journaling. I do show some tips and tricks and hacks how I do bullet journal here and there. It's been quite a while that I've made a video in this bullet journal workshop series. You find the other parts of that series on my website scribbly.org. You go to the menu, and in one of those 2 or 3 drop downs that I have there, you will find the bullet journal series. About once a year I also sort of like incrementally improve and update my bullet journaling and planning system. And this video right here is to talk about how I have changed my 2019 planning system from the 2018 planning system. First of all, I want to say thank you. This here is a thank you card from Nomado Store, our friends that have a lot of cool things such as stationery, you know, everyday carry gear, bags, and a lot of leather goods. Super cool. Check them out at nomadostore.com. As said, this is a Nomado Store thank you card. I want to thank Nomado Store for actually sending me the regular size traveler's notebook. And I've sort of like changed my planning system from A to B. The B contains now this traveler's notebook, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the kind guys over there at Nomado Store, they've sent me this traveler's notebook and a little bit some, you know, inlays and stuff like that, just so that I could try this new way of planning out and hey, shoot this video here for you guys. So in essence, this traveler's notebook here, I mean, many of you guys know what the traveler's notebook is. Of course, you can just like put, you know, grid paper in there and stuff like that, blank paper. There's all kinds of things. You get those traveler's notebooks in different colors. I happen to have the black one right here. The starter kit costs 50 euro. There you get the traveler's notebook. I think 1 or 2 inlays such as this one, and then you also get these rubber bands right there. And as said, you can buy all kinds of, you know, pocket stickers. You can buy free diaries that are not predated, and you know, you guys know what the traveler's notebook is. I don't have to talk much about that. But what I got here for the purpose of planning from the Nomado Store was the traveler's notebook plus the diary 2019, and this is a super cool kind of diary because like it's like, you know, you always have like half a year in one journal, and then it's like distributed. It's like a weekly diary and memo part. So on one spread you always have like, and I'll show you that in a minute, the days of the week, all 7 days of the week, and a part for free note taking, which is pretty cool. So now let's loop back a little bit and show you or talk a little bit. And maybe this video is a few minutes longer because like I just can't talk in 5 minutes about my planning system and the upgrading, but it's also not going to be 25 minutes, don't worry. So, but like, let's talk about situation A. So in 2018, my planning system looked like this, and there I already had changed from 2017. In 2017, I just had a A5 bullet journal, yeah, Leuchtturm 1917 A5 bullet journal. And in this bullet journal in 2017, I was doing all my future planning, my note taking and all of that. Then in 2018, I was tired of the good old problems with future planning and all that, that you can't really, you know, it's difficult to plan events that are like 3 or 6 months down the line. There's hacks about that. I also made videos in my bullet journal workshop series about that. But in essence, that was too cumbersome for me. So I decided to go for a calendar, for a little Leuchtturm calendar in combination with a A6 bullet journal. I also went from A5 to A6. That worked pretty well for me. And then 2018 was the year when I started working. So then I also wanted to have a work notebook, and for that A5 was a great format for me. So my planning setup then in essence was a work notebook and then a bullet journal with the regular bullet journaling conventions apart from the future planning, because planning I did in the calendar. But then I ended up to carry like 3 notebooks with me to work every single day, and I always had to like sort of like carry that whole stack around in order, you know, to always have everything at hand. Because if I only had the work notebook and somebody was asking me, hey, next week on Tuesday, 2 o'clock, do you have time? I was like, shit, I don't know, because I don't have my calendar with me. And as said, carrying all that with me just proved to be a little bit cumbersome over time. So I felt I just really would like to have all this in a flexible way in just one notebook. And then I reached out to Nomado Store and I said, hey guys, I would like to try to have my whole life right here in this traveler's notebook. I do think that if I will have my whole life in here, you know, work, private and everything, then the passport size of the notebook, which is like sort of that size and which I already have, will be too small for me in format. So I would like to try the standard size. Nomado Store guys were kind enough to send me a starter kit worth 50 euro as said, and I gave it a go as said for the first half of the year 2019, and I tried that thing out before vacation. I'm just returning from summer vacation. I was on vacation in July. And then, as I had tried this for half a year, I had made one change. First of all, it was like that. So I had like all these 3 things that I was just showing you in this notebook, right? I had like the calendar in the notebook, 3 journals are in here. I had a calendar in the notebook. I had the bullet journal inlay in the notebook, and I had my work notebook. Now, for me personally, when I'm at work, what I typically do is that I have my notebook with all my notes laying like that here beside my computer. And the problem that I have found with this notebook setup here is that it has no flat lay kind of binding. So I could not always have that beside my laptop and see all the tasks that I gotta do and stuff like that. So that was kind of annoying. So then unfortunately I had to like make one other mod, which is for work, go back again to a regular notebook that, you know, this here is a Leuchtturm 1917. This is the B5, and that's sort of the sweet spot for me at work. B5 is a really nice format, flat lay binding and all that, kind of cool. So that's what I now use for work. And other than that, I do use the Traveler's Notebook as said with 3 inlays, and I'm just going to show you not everything in here because it's private, but like a few things I wanted to show you. So first of all, my first journal in here, or my first inlay, is a bullet journal, and that's just for my private bullet journaling right here. There I do task planning, write up meetings, things that I need to do and stuff like that. Then my second notebook, and that is what the replacement for my work notebook is. So as said, I removed the work notebook from here. I don't have a work journal anymore because like it doesn't really like open flat when you open it. So this is now just like a regular journal or scrapbook. Sure, I could do that in my bullet journal, as many people do, right? But I just like working with those kind of collections. But I just felt like this is a neat thing, bullet journaling for like small task planning. But then when I have like sort of like, you know, more lengthy thought processes that I want to write down, or if I, you know, and that's a page marker here that I wanted to show you, if I find an interesting newspaper article that I just want to like glue in here, paste in here, maybe a few quotes that I want to write down or something like that. For that, I just find it a little nicer to have like a dedicated journal and scrapbook. That's what I call it. So as said, inlay 1 is bullet journal, inlay 2 is journaling and scrapbooking, where I can just go a little bit more bananas and I have more space for writing. And then I do keep a few post-its and page markers in here because that always comes in handy. And then back here, I have my calendar for dedicated future planning. As said, this here is from July to December 2019, second half year. You have a nice calendar overview. I can mark things like my vacation in here and stuff like that. Then if you go on, you also have like these monthly overviews that you can use for, like, you know, writing in birthdays or something like that. I can then show you, there's a few things that I have covered here that I didn't want to show, but this is actually what a weekly spread looks like, you know, kind of cool. Here I can write a few, and that's like now more or less private things, because like I have, as I've said, my work notebook and work planning, time planning that I personally do in Outlook. That doesn't work for me in a paper notebook. My schedules are way too flexible and shift forth and back all the time. So doing that on paper is just completely impractical for me. But I do, as said, my task planning, my private task planning in here, you know, writing that I want to go to the gym, which are the days when my kids, when I gotta bring my kids to school, that I, you know, need to take my kids to the football training, or that I need to water the plants. And this part here, I sometimes also use a little bit for daily journaling. Here I mix it up. Sometimes I do a little bit gratitude journaling. Sometimes I write some things that I want to do on that day if I'm running out of space right here. That's a little bit flexible. And then at the very end, there is a blank page. And this blank page I use for personal my half-yearly motto and goal planning, because like this thing here I will now have with me for half a year. So what I typically do now for the second half of 2019, my motto is to focus on spending quality time with the family in Sweden, more time with my family in Germany. I want to write more and I want to work out a little bit more. That's sort of the overarching motto that I use. And then I have like a few dedicated goals that I personally, for me, broke down in 4 different categories: professional, physical, emotionally, family, and hobby and leisure time. So then I always have this with me, and that now for half a year has worked excellently with me. As said, for work, this didn't work for me because no lay flat binding. But I gotta say that this stack right here, carrying this with me, feels a lot more compact than my old setup that I had. I mean, sure, it's just like 1 notebook less, but it's just, you know, it's just a lot more compact. And as said, for work, I found B5 to sort of be my sweet spot. Private, this is fantastic. I mean, when I go on vacation, of course, I don't take my work notebook with me. I just had that with me, and that's everything I need. So that's kind of neat. And then as said, you know, there's like, where did I put this piece of paper now? Can't find it anymore, huh? Right here. For these notebooks here, there's all kinds of inlays that you can get. I will definitely for 2020 again order the weekly and memo, which I find fantastic because you always have a little bit free space to write things in. As said, of course, you can buy all kinds of inlays from the Travelers Company, order that stuff from our friends at Nomado Store, for instance, or you can, as I sometimes do it if you have special needs, just make your own notebooks, inlays that you can put in there. I've also made a video about how that works. Guys, that's basically it for that video. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email, leave a comment down below here on YouTube, or if you watched the video on scribbly.org on my blog, you can also leave a comment there. That is my 2019 setup for private and work planning. Pretty compact stack right here. I think for the moment, if this proves useful at the second half year now as well, and I think it will, that could actually be the first time in quite a while that I will walk into 2020 with the same setup that I had the year before. That has so far never happened. I have sort of like always been doing bullet journaling, but like as you see with like the scrapbooking and the future planning with the calendar, I have always modified my system slightly. this right here could actually be the first time that I could transition into the new year with the same system. I want to again say thank you to my friends over there at Nomado Store for being kind enough to provide me with a starter kit of the Traveler's Notebook standard size. As said, it was a pleasure using that for the past time. And like, you know, the nice thing also a little bit, maybe to add that before we wrap the video up, is that this thing here, that more private notebook, it's, you know, it's leather, of course, as you know from my Traveler's Notebook reviews that I've made before. It picks up some scratches, it does pick up patina, it sort of picks up character, develops a little bit its own unique identity, if you will. And I think that has a lot of charm as well. You know, you just don't exchange the notebook, swap it out, new one in and stuff like that. But here you just swap out the inlays and you have that thing with you. And I think that's pretty cool. But guys, I'll stop rambling on right now. Again, thank you, Nomado Stores. Guys, if you have a question, just shoot me a mail. You know where you find me. And I'll see you at the next video. Ciao, ciao.